Search and destroy is not easy, and Standoff is finally in the competitive rotation, thank goodness. And this was the first weekend that the pros were playing Standoff in competitive matches. So today we are learning from the pros and the pro setups on Standoff, Search and Destroy, offense, defense, and the god spots that they are using to find the first bloods, get the man advantages, and dominate these rounds of Search and Destroy. So without further ado, let's get right into this one. Let's go. Alrighty, let's start on the defensive side first. We'll do some setups, then some god spots, and then head on to the offensive side. And the first thing that was obvious to me when looking through all of these matches was the varied strats that pros have, the different philosophies that these teams have heading into this map, where some really like pushing this A-bomb or defending the A-bomb on offense or defense. Some really like playing for mid control. Some teams really like playing for the flank and playing towards gas station on both sides, whether it's offense or defense. And so the 3-lane approach of Standoff is just a ton of fun, and I love how it plays, and that's why we're talking about today. So off the rip here, the first strat that I really like here was from Paris against the stage 3 champion Atlanta Faze, because of the really nice setups that Paris was using here off the rip. And so I love the strategy here to basically flow through into courtyard and play for the first blood. That's the whole goal of a setup like this, is to find the first blood and then trade the kills from there and out to win the round. And they do an incredible job of that in this round, to find the first blood on Abezy, who is the first blood king in himself, and use their man advantages to make it happen. I love the setup. They have Aqua sitting back tank, also helping them watch the push from bottom brown. The rest of the team is flooding through cafe into courtyard, finding the kill. Awesome fast-paced push here that I think a lot of teams can utilize to kind of push the pace and get some mid control early in a round. I love it from Paris. So heading into clip 2 here, another great setup from Paris that I absolutely love. So again, it's pretty straightforward and pretty basic, but it's really effective. And so the key here is Aqua, who's sitting on tank. He can help towards A, and he's getting the call outs on top brown or bottom brown or courtyard or on B-bomb for the player who's sitting in cafe, which is Zaptius in this setup. So number 2 on the minimap, Zaptius is set up inside cafe, basically watching the flank, making sure they don't get pinched in that way, while also being kind of like the weapon that Aqua can utilize to put pressure on the B-bomb if Faze is trying to do a fast B push. And so Zaptius is waiting there, waiting to pounce. He can pop out any point to get that kill on B-bomb or courtyard from the callouts that Aqua's getting. And in the same regard, if they get callouts that they're going towards A, that Faze is going quickly towards A, Aqua can rotate over and really help them there on a fast A push. I think this is a great setup from Paris and another really effective round win for them based off this setup for sure. So now into the Toronto versus Florida match. This was also a really fun match as well. And I love this defensive setup here from Toronto, who uses the mid pressure to kind of be a hard counter towards the fast A push. And so what I love about this is that they basically are really working together here. The setups on the minimap you're seeing with Cammy and Insight, their 2 ARs sitting basically back grannies or by tank, watching that mid-street push, helping their SMGs who are playing through mid-street, playing on the car in mid-street and pushing up towards L, and they end up finding a 2-piece right off the rip because of this really well put together setup there. Then they back up, play for kills, play off their first blood, their man advantage, and just have a really solid round off the rip for Ultra, all because of their just dope mid-mat setup that they use there. So now into the OpTic v Minnesota match, and again, classic Envoy here using the flank to his advantage, and this is a nice flank route or a flank strat here from OpTic. And so what I like about this is that they're not just letting Envoy basically be isolated by himself on the flank, is that they're also using a Dashy and Scump to push up into courtyard to help Envoy a little bit there on the flank. So if Envoy gets a call out that one is like back brown or right there on the dumpster, then they can push through brown and try to find those kills together. It also allows for Envoy to have the chance to pinch brown with them if they find a lot of pressure there inside bottom brown. So overall, I love the setup from OpTic. You have Formal playing in the back, also watching that bottom brown or that top brown pushes in case they need some help there. Formal can rotate over and watch A if they don't get a call out pretty quickly there. So overall, I like that setup a lot. Another really nice one there on the defensive side on Standoff. So those are 4 very simple setups for defense. And again, there's a lot of other A counters that you can make where 3 stacking or 4 stacking A can work, but you have to be very careful of the flank. Generally, you'll send one like top grandmas in that situation to help guard the flank there. And now some god spots as well to go along with these different strats that you can set up. So the god spots are pretty straightforward. It's basically just really dope angles that I saw pros using while going through these matches, used to find those first bloods, cheeky little angles to use to check certain areas of the map. And I thought there were some pretty nice spots there. I love the standy one there at the end as well. Definitely one of my favorite spots to use to just kind of get a weird angle there towards gas station and watch the flank at the same time. Generally, you're able to find at least one there before you get traded using that spot. Big fan of that one. But overall, I think those are some pretty nice spots. Definitely use them in your matches to find those first bloods, things you love to see. So now heading on to the offensive side with a lot of variation of aggressive or patient pushes, playing the flank. Some decided not to play the flank basically at all. And so overall, I really liked the setups as a whole. So standoff's a little bit weird where you're always having to worry about that flank on the offensive side. Generally, defensive teams have to worry about flanks more on mini maps, but offense, big time problem for a lot of offensive setups here. And I really like how teams approached it. So like right here off the rip, you can see how Faze does a great job of countering Paris's flank pushes and finding a first blood here. So they have Abezy and number 5 on the minimap, Arcides, watching the pushes towards the gas station corner there. And so, you know, Abezy and Arcides are in a perfect spot here. Abezy's pushed up, he has the SMG. Arcides, of course, has the AR, he's playing farther back. And just a fantastic pairing set up there to find the first blood, give him the advantage, and give him a chance to win the round here. And so, as a whole, big fan of this setup to find a first blood or play for some information and potentially hard counter these flanks if you know that this team is pretty willing to hit flanks like this. You've got Cellium just playing on top of Van, looking for a first blood. Again, Faze has so much confidence in their ARs that they've had a lot of like lines of sight that weren't as tradable, but that's because they're so confident with their AR. So if you have a group of ARs that are really solid that you think can win a majority of their gunfights, then these types of setups that Faze uses are really good. So with that said, here's a really patient AR setup from Florida against Toronto. I really like how they're trying to utilize Skies and Awakening here to find the kills towards A, while Havoc and Neptune are playing a little bit slower, making sure they're not getting pushed on their flanks. And at this point, they're just playing for information. Their job isn't to find the kill necessarily, it's just to make sure that they're not getting flanked. Patient offensive setup here from Florida. And if you utilize the information correctly, we have a lot of tips videos around this channel about playing off of information and playing after a first blood, playing with a man advantage, rotating bomb sites. All that's in different Learn from the Pros videos and different tips videos on the channel. But this is a great setup from Florida. I love the patience here, things you love to see. So here's another really nice offensive setup from Toronto and another kind of patient first blood type setup here on an offense. So what I love about this, the key here is number 3 on the minimap, Insight. His job is A, to watch the flank. So he's watching that gas station push to make sure they don't get flanked, and B, to help Bance, who's sitting on L. Number 2 on the minimap, Bance, who's sitting on L, and if Bance gets the call out, Insight turns to help him there and try to find that kill. So Bance just has to make sure he plays an angle that forces them to bait out that first blood, and they're doing that very well here. In the same way, Kleenex is playing bottom brown, just making sure, playing slow, playing for the information, and he ends up finding the first blood on Havoc, who gets a little bit too aggressive pushing down there. So again, the setup's really nice. I love the patience there. A theme you're gonna see in these videos is the offensive patience from a lot of pro teams is really impressive, and it forces the defense into making a mistake, especially if you know that you're playing against SMGs who can get a little bit impatient and start pushing things a little bit too fast. And Ultra takes advantage of that very well here. So if you've noticed that teams have a kind of a tendency to stack the A side, a really nice fast B push here is through L, and the Rokkr utilized this really well here. They fly through L, they hit in the courtyard, they get a fast B plant down, and it works incredibly well. As long, you know, you have to be pretty careful here. Earlier in this game, they actually didn't watch mid, and Envoy found a 3-piece on them from behind. So you have to be careful and make sure that you're communicating the flanks there and ensuring that you have that mid push down. And if you do, this push can work really well. And you know, you already see Envoy trying to hit the flanks here and playing those weird angles. But I really like this push to switch things up, play an aggressive courtyard mid push with like 3 SMGs and make a play. And then you have your AR like number 5 on the map overwatching mid like that. I love that play. Fantastic stuff. So the last offensive push here is a really nice balanced A push from OpTic. You just send basically 2 through mid street while one of your ARs is sitting on top of Van overlooking them. Then you send both of them straight through street, and they push up towards A together. Envoy here is a pretty interesting key where he's hitting through L, playing the broken angle towards Major Maniac, who's on Tractor, and that can work really, really well. You have to be pretty careful if you're Envoy here, where, you know, you're shooting at Major Maniac. You have to assume that someone's pretty close to you there in Courtyard, so that is a kind of tough, difficult angle to play, but if you trust your SMGs to play their life there inside mid on L there, that can be an incredibly effective setup to get a bomb down at A and push it that way. And the coordination there is awesome from OpTic to make the round work, things you love to see. So now the God spots for A, pretty straightforward. There's a lot of really fun ones. The most important ones that I would probably highlight right now is the broken angle through the statue in the middle right now, where you can like see through the cracks and see towards Cafe. Definitely a little broken right now. I'd imagine that'll get patched at some point. The other ones is the dumpster line of sight watching gas station's flank push. That is huge. You can play that brown, the back brown entrance, and just watch towards gas station. That's ginormous. And then there's a lot of these tractor angles that are on A, and the broken angles towards top grandmas as well. Really, really nice. I love all of these pushes, or all of these God spots, and I definitely gonna be using them in GBs and in the community league these upcoming few months as well. So there it is for the video. I just posted a gameplay, or it's about to go live, hopefully, on the gaming channel. So go down in the description, turn on notifications for the gaming channel and for this channel as well. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like, comment, subscribe, share the video if you guys really enjoyed it. There's a lot more of these videos coming down the barrel. I hope you guys enjoyed this one, and I appreciate the support a lot. But as always, guys, I'm your boy Faze, and guys, we will see you next time. I'm out.